So now we are talking about legislative definition of decent home standard and also the introduction of Awaab's law into the private rented sector. So I'll start with the decent home standard. And I mean, just on the face of it, the word decent sounds like what everybody should really be living in, and you'd like to think that every home is decent, but in reality, Sean, what do you think this decent really means?
Right, okay, so just a little bit of a 30-second background with the Decent Home Standard. Look, that was introduced as a code, as a guidance back in 2000, and since then it has been reviewed in 2006 and as lately as 2021. It's applied to the social housing sector. Now, there was a part 2 of that consultation which started in 2021, which was meant to be started in 2022, which was to look at how it could be applied to the private rented sector, which is where we are now. So the government has promised that they will do a consultation on this, but let's have a look also at what's going on in terms of property standards. And property standards are key to this bill. And this is one of the driving factors to make sure that the quality of properties are up to standard. Now, we know the majority of people, and the surveys all show that, the English Housing Survey and everything else, the majority of landlords are decent and keep their properties in good condition. However, a significant minority, because we've got so many people in the private rented sector, are not doing that. They're either willfully ignorant of it or they just not bothered to do it. And that is to the extent that it is a big problem, even though the very, very large sector of the housing rented sector is very decent. Now, we've also had a review of what's called the HHSRS. Yeah. And that was completed back in September 2023, but the recommendations from that have not been set. So the difference between those two is on the standards, the HHSRS, is that they are judged by expert inspectors from the council. They're the categories 1 through to 5, I think it is, and these are kind of like absolute standards.
So for a landlord, really what they need to know here is that the local authority will have a code or have a set of standards that they can judge the quality of the property on, and if there's a particular issue with the property, then the the local authority have the capability to be able to issue an enforcement notice or some form of notice that is required to improve the standard of that property. So it's just kind of formalising that area and also giving a kind of standard set.
But the Decent Home Standard goes beyond that within the terms of the categories. It's about also lifestyle. Every tenant should be living in a safe property, safe from electrical hazard, from gas, heating. All of this is tied into a bigger picture to try and have an overall holistic.
Let's get straight to the point. A poor little boy died. Yeah. Right. We're now in 2024. No one should be living in really poor standards, especially in the private rental sector, albeit that was in the social housing sector. And there's an argument, well, what's better housing, social or private? And we can all debate that something separately. But a landlord has a duty of care for their tenant and, more importantly, to act in 14 days